like right now I'm teaching a class about this where the students
Oh,
have to update
perfect.
their LinkedIn profile. And I'm like, okay, so you got to use the about section really well. So this is what I'm telling them. A lot of them don't do a good job with, they'll, first of all, they'll leave the picture behind them blank. You've got it great there. You've got all the companies you've worked with, the HBOs and IBMs and today's shows and things like that. So you did a great job because it shows that you've done all this stuff. But when I'm teaching this class, a lot of the students will just keep the same blue thing, whatever's behind them, or you know what I mean. And so you've done that really great. And I think you say what you are, your relationship strategist and media coach. That's clear. What isn't clear is in the about section. And I think for a lot of
Okay.
people underutilize this section. You've at least used it fully, all as many words or whatever you could put in there. A lot of my students will put like one sentence or one paragraph or you know what I mean. I think if you
Okay.
look at most people's people are going to read the first paragraph, and then if it's too
And
much
that's
stuff, that's all they're going to read. So
well,
they,
well, that's why in writing, when you're writing a news story, it should always be an inverted pyramid.
yes,
Most important information at the top and the
yes,
least important at the bottom, so that, and that's for the newsroom actually, so that the newsroom can cut the little parts at the end that are
right.
more insignificant.
Well, you kind of just want an abstract for the first
Yeah,
paragraph. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Okay,
I
great.
would, yeah, I would say like 4, 5, 6 sentences summary. You know what I mean? And then some bulleted points
Okay,
afterwards.
fine. If anybody had read what is up currently and
Let me see what you got again.
no, no,
Okay, you've repeated. Okay, you're a relationship wellness strategist, keynote speaker, performance coach to boost bottom line. That's pretty clear what you are right there. Um, I think the co-founder of media docs like what we're doing. They'll see it at the bottom. They don't, you know what I mean. I think that some of this stuff it's just you could put in the experience category or not have repeat columnist Today Show, columnist match, columnist, you know what I mean? Just like columnist Today Show match, list 3 or 4 different
yeah,
things,
yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? And I think cutting things back into bullets is fine. I don't know if I don't think I do bullets. Let me look at mine. I can't remember
I
because
prefer the bullets because people don't read.
I like bullets on my resume and on mine. You know what I did is they always say write your bio in first person, which I used to have it. And then I had so many people on my show that I would, they'd send me things in first person or you'd get it off LinkedIn
I
and
never
I
heard
had to
that.
change everything to third person. It was such a pain as what I
I
do.
would I would never write my bio in first person.
No, it's a good idea to do it that way. It's really is. But because if you're going to be on other people's shows like you and I are, then it's just a hassle for people. So you and I will put ours in third person to make it easier for people because they're going to be
Always.
repeating basically what we said. So if you were going to be on my show, I'd be going, "Oh, she didn't write me her bio." You've made it hard for me because you just have bulleted points. You made it easy for me because I know what kind of questions to ask because I could ask based on the bullets, but I don't have a bio. I don't have 5 sentences to copy and paste, and that's what I want.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
I'm
that's
gonna
how I do it. But see,
I'm gonna reread this. I'm gonna reread this and see what I come up with, and then I'm gonna run it by you. Okay?
yeah, I mean, that's just, I've had a lot of LinkedIn experts on the show and they'll all tell you it's got to be in first person and all that stuff. But I think it depends what you're trying to do with it. And you and I are trying to help other people out who are using our bios for their shows and things.
Yeah.
You could also keep it in first person and then send people bios in third person. But I know a lot of people.
Oh.
It's just easier for them if they just copy and paste it from LinkedIn. So I did it that way. But for my students, I would tell them to write in first
What
person.
about people who
So
don't
for their
have
papers,
what about people who don't have specific titles and say, I help companies, blah, 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 blah. That puts me off. I need, what do you mean? What do you do? What specifically, how do you help other companies? With what? Are you a psychotherapist? Are you a coach? Are you, what do you do? And in what area? Are you in the financial realm? Are you in the interpersonal realm of the soft skills, etc.? So
I don't know how I feel about that one. Some of the chief happiness officers and stuff, I don't know exactly what
I
that.
know.
I want that job. I don't know what. But I mean, on mine, I write business behavioral expert, nationally syndicated radio host, keynote speaker, author, and Thinkers 50 radar. So mine's really long, and I sometimes like it when I think it's like super famous people can just put whatever they want because everybody knows who Schwarzenegger is. He probably doesn't have to even put what he is, right?
But that has its positives and negatives. Just this morning, I was called to assess one of our very famous actors who seems to get drunker and drunker and drunker as he gets older and older and older. And
Curious who it is, but go ahead.
well, I'll tell you privately. Anyway, so
Okay,
I was
good.
asked to, well, it'll be in print soon. But so I was asked to assess what is going on. And it's not necessarily so wonderful to be so in the public eye because then everything you do is scrutinized.
Right.
And I know for a fact, working with the tabloids, that a lot of the stars call the tabloids in advance to let them know they're going to be dining at such and such a restaurant at such and such a time. So if they'd like to cover it, blah, blah, blah. And they have to do this to continue to keep their name out there in the public.
Right.
But sometimes, and this has happened when I have been called as the second choice to represent a product, to be product spokesperson, because their A-list star got into some trouble in the news and they couldn't use her anymore. So I was the second choice, who they would not consider as a first choice because they thought that her name would have that name recognition
Right.
and be better for their brand. But then they recognized this is going to sink our brand. So we're going to have to get Dr. Gilda, who has the most boring life. I mean,
Wait a minute, we do stuff together. I think we have fun.
I
But no, I know what you're saying, and I think you have to really consider what you're putting out there because it does follow you. But to bring it back to what we're saying on the LinkedIn profile thing, knowing what people really do is it's just hard to guess sometimes. And I think it's what I find interesting is the people who are on my show who have their own podcasts send me the worst stuff sometimes of
because
what they do.
Because, honey, they have their own podcasts, perhaps, but they are not writers necessarily. They may
but
be.
they know what they want from other people because they do their own stuff, unless they have somebody doing every single thing for them.